Welcome to heCast, the official podcast of He Changed It. As always, I'm Mike Chisholm. As always, excited to be here. And I'm really excited about what's been going on in the world of He Changed It over the last few weeks. It's so cool to see the growth and everything's organic right now. We haven't spent any money on marketing. We haven't done anything to put this thing out there. And it's already building a following. I'm having fun getting to know some of the viewers and listeners of heCast. That's a lot of fun too. And it really... Getting to know you guys and having a more dynamic relationship is something I really look forward to as the community in He Changed It gets bigger in the He app. If you haven't downloaded it yet, head to the App Store, look for He Changed It. You'll find it. The app is called He. Download it, come on up, sign up, be a part of what it is that we're doing. I'm really excited about the guests that we have here today. As people get to know me, one of the things that comes out to them is I have this sort of I don't even want to call it a unique personality because it's not, but it is the type of personality where people are like, is that guy for real because of how positive I am? And this, is that guy really like he presents himself? And the answer is kind of yes. Whenever I meet somebody who has a similar personality to me, I always take note of that. The gentleman who I'm going to interview today, I first actually became aware of him on our local 5 o'clock news. That's how the first time I heard about Ryan Lancaster. And I want to talk about the special project that he did with him. But at the end of the day, like a brother from another mother, Ryan, I'm so excited that you are here to talk to the audience, to our heCast audience. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. And I cannot wait to unleash you to the He Changed It world.
That is an incredible intro. Thanks so much, my friend. I'm really excited to be here.
Another positive guy, just like me, like lots of positivity, happiness. Whenever we can default to a smile, we try and do that. Have people your whole life asked you if you're for real, if you're really that nice of a guy or that positive of a guy?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, I used to actually, like, way back in the day, be really into theater, and I would actually get free tickets to all the local theater shows because I have this infectious laugh that they're like, if you laugh, everyone laughs, so you need to come. And they would just like hand me free tickets to stuff.
Right, there you go. Yeah. And that's not a bad rep to have.
Yeah.
My smile has gotten me a lot of really cool opportunities over my life as well. And I've always been that guy where it's just, if I can find a way to default to happiness, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just try and get that done. And it hasn't anything to do with being fake or any of that. It's just, I just genuinely want to be happy.
Totally, man.
Life's too short.
Yeah, you're telling me. Yeah.
I'm a great admirer of you. I'm a great admirer of your wife. I'm a big fan of your spirit, some of the things that you do. And I want to talk a little bit before we get into what it is that you're doing and ways that you can kind of have that attitude that you have. And if we can pick that apart and share it with other guys out there, that's a service. I think that's a good thing.
Awesome.
Before we do that, I want to talk about why I saw you on the news.
Okay.
Why I saw you on my local news. I believe you were in the mayor's office and you were making a trade of some sort.
Yes.
So you were involved in a situation where you traded one thing and you ended up with a bus raising a bunch of money across the country.
Yeah, that's right? Like the best abridged version you can get.
Can we do the abridged version of what it is that you did?
Yeah, so the project was called the $1 Million Bus, and essentially at the time I was doing a series of missions to try and challenges to try and give myself and my life more purpose. And I've always really loved the concept of these like tiny homes, these like schooly projects that people have done where they take old school buses and convert them into little mobile homes slash offices. At the time, I was really seeking, what could I be doing that would allow me to have this, like, maybe smaller life to be able to accomplish more and do more. And how could I link that to other things that I was seeking in my life? And at the time, I'd never really traveled. So like going across Canada and really experiencing the nation that we call home, felt really important to me. Like for those who've traveled across Canada, it's really like traveling across the globe in a lot of ways because there's just so much diversity across our country, and I really felt like I didn't really know the country that I call home or the people in it, and so I felt like there was a hole missing for me that I needed to fill. and trying to tie that to something purposeful. And so I didn't really know what any of that looked like. I just knew that like if I was going to start that, I needed to start somewhere. So I needed to get a bus, and then I could travel across Canada, and then I could do something positive and experience the nation. And so at the time, I actually didn't have any money. So I thought, well, why couldn't I try and trade? And I'd seen, I don't know if you've heard, there's this guy that now lives in Saskatchewan, and he traded from a paperclip
Yes.
all the way up to a house that he now lives in Saskatchewan. And so I was like, well, if this guy can do a paperclip to a house, why can't I do a button to a bus? And so the first trade that I managed to I put
Start
out
with a button.
Yeah, I started with a button. It's a $2 button that said like "I Maple Leaf Canada," and I said, hey, you know, I'm trying to trade up to a bus, and who wants to trade with me? And I just started putting it out on social media and like hustling it, and
Just locally
here, yeah.
Yeah.
In Kelowna. And I managed to connect with the mayor, and the mayor said, you know, this is super cool. I love what you're doing, and I think I have the perfect thing for your first trade. So he had brought back a traditional Japanese tea set from our sister city in Kaskai, Japan, and the tea set was meant to foster community. And he said, if you're going to communities across our country, I think this would be a really cool first trade. So overnight, essentially in a couple of days.
He gave you a boost.
Yeah, he gave me a big boost, right?
A button for a tea set's a good deal.
A big deal, yeah. So, and especially like a traditional Japanese, like memorable tea set. But then I had this like whole new problem of like, well, now I have the mayor's like very important tea set, and I need to, you know, I can't just give this away to anybody. I need to like do something positive with the tea set. And so I spent like the whole next week running around town, trying to find somebody that would, you know, be a good home for the tea set and have something to trade up with me. And I ended up in this little tea shop downtown, after really exhausting like everyone I knew and any people on the street that I could approach. And this lady that owns Chai Baba Tea said, you know, this is so cool, and I actually think I have somebody that would be a perfect fit for this tea set. And then as we're having this conversation, this lady comes into the tea shop, and the lady is, you know, I tell her my story, and she gets all fired up, and she's like, okay, let me just go home and see if I can find something to trade with you. And I was like, this is so, you know, like perfect. Like, look at the stars are aligning. And I go home and I'm so excited. I tell my girlfriend at the time, and I put it on social media that I think I found a trade. And then that night she calls me and she's like, hey, Ryan, listen, I appreciate this tea set so much. I don't feel like I have something of value that I can trade with you for it. So I'm sorry, and I wish you luck. And so I was just like, I was really devastated because I just felt like I was just getting traction, and then it was all kind of stripped away.
Right.
But I just tried to be as like authentic with the journey as possible, and was sharing on social media and saying like, hey, you know, this didn't work out. I'm really sad. And this local photographer in town actually saw the post and said, that's crazy, man. That lady should have that tea set. I will trade you my Nikon SLR camera for the tea set, and then we'll donate it to that lady. And so we ended up meeting up the next day, and then driving all around town and sort of like micro stalking this lady. And we ended up finding out that she works at the school district, and I looked her up on the SD23 website and went to the school that she works at. And then as we're like at the office trying to explain why we have cameras in the school and like, please don't call the cops, she like walks by the office and she's like, hey, Ryan, I work here. And I was like, I know, I'm stalking you. And we give her the tea set, and she just breaks into tears, and we got the whole thing captured, and it was so powerful. And it just continued to roll from there. We went from the Nikon camera to a little scooter with an amateur photographer, and I got the photographer offered to give him some free photography lessons, and then the scooter to a Sea-Doo, which ended up having a busted starter. And then I promised that if we fix a starter, that I would take the Sea-Doo out on Okanagan Lake in the middle of February. And then this realtor stepped forward to say, I will help crowdfund the money. And so we found the money. We found a volunteer boat mechanic, fixed the Sea-Doo, I went out on the lake dodging ice drifts in the middle of February. I'd never been on a Sea-Doo in my life. And then when I got back in from the Sea-Doo excursion, somebody had tagged me in a post in a bus down in Oliver that somebody was selling. And I messaged him. I was like, hey, man, I have a Sea-Doo. Would you be interested in trading? I'm trying to do this thing. And he says, oh, you know what? I would love a Sea-Doo. I'm actually moving to Alaska to be a mushroom picker because that's a thing. And I could really use a Sea-Doo to like bomb down the riverways and like pick more mushrooms. And I was like, brilliant. So I like drove down to Oliver.
We'll unpack that later.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So
so
Sea-Doo, so you ended up with not that many trades.
Yeah, so it was five trades in 6 weeks. I went from a button to a bus. And
Wow.
it was just like pure hustle and drive and a lot of like wonderful community that got me there. So
Oh man, that is just I love that part of it. And then the next part of it is the journey of the bus. You go across Canada with it.
Yeah. So the next challenge was converting the bus because I'd never really I grew up my parents divorced when I was 5, so I didn't have a lot of like male influence growing up, so I didn't have a lot of those like mechanical and like